I am learning to thrive in a gig economy. Would you like to learn too? Tonight I'm coming to you from my attic, or as I like to call it, the storeroom. It's for my online business. And the reason why I thought I'd talk to you from here is because of a conversation I had earlier this week with somebody who is a seller, retail seller, who I met and I was talking to about trying to do some social media marketing for her. While I was talking to her, she mentioned that a good bit of her storage is at home in her house. And I mentioned, well, that could be a tax deduction. From what I understand, at least what my accountant has told me, is that if you store all your inventory at home, that part of your home actually can be classified as your home office, as long as it's not used for anything else. Now, trust me, go out and talk to an accountant if you want to try to do this, because everybody's situation is different. But I was surprised when I was talking to her that she didn't understand some of these tax deductions that a small business person has. Because one thing that I have found very early on with my business, small business, is that you need to take your tax deductions, your home office deduction, your travel deduction. When we travel for business, we get a deduction and we need to keep track of the mileage. There's apps on your telephone, or you can buy a little daily planner that you keep in your glove compartment. That's what I use because I'm an old timer. But yeah, so this is some of my stock. I have over 3,000 books on Amazon and another 1,000 items on eBay. eBay has not been as successful for me as Amazon. I like Amazon. It's easy to list and it's easy to pack a book. eBay can sometimes be a little more complicated when you're listing something. You have to take your own photos, and when it comes to sending stuff, it can be quite complicated. Yesterday, I sold a color television to a fellow out in North Dakota, and it took me a long time to figure out how to pack it. I ended up packing it in an old computer box because that was the only thing that it really fit in. Now, that's great. I made some money on it. But if you look at how much time I put in trying to figure out how to package the television, I don't think I made much money at all. So this is what I do with my online business. The reason why I'm dressed so nicely is that today I finished my first day of a 2-day public speaking workshop that I present with somebody else. I'm partners with that person on this project. I do it once a month. We go to a company and we talk about how better to present yourself. And it's interesting because the company that we've been working with has mainly been having us teach people within the company how to better present themselves to the people above in the company. And it's a great idea when you think about it. How many of us could do better when we're talking to the bosses, right? So I spent all day doing that, and tomorrow I'll go ahead and I'll do it again all day. Now, that takes away from my real estate work, unfortunately. I have a client I've been working with about trying to find a condominium, and I've sent a lot of listings to that person for this town and a couple nearby towns, and I just haven't had time to follow up because I've been doing this public speaking, and that's something I'm a little concerned about, where I'm trying to figure out how best to use my time. When I'm done with this, I'm going to send him another email. We're going to try to figure out a time that we can meet and maybe go at it, look at some condos. But it's something we have to think about as freelancers. Where is your best use of the time? In this case, because the public speaking workshop only comes once in a while, maybe once a month, I really have to use these days when I can. And that means staying up late and doing the other work, at least for now. Somewhere down the road, it might be different. If my real estate stuff really takes off, maybe the workshop goes to the side. But for now, the workshop is more important, at least today. The other thing that I wanted to mention about the real estate is I thought it might be good to talk a little bit about some of the things that we do as real estate agents that perhaps you don't realize when you're going out to look at a house. One of the things that we do on Tuesdays and Thursdays here in Westfield in the area is we go out and look at all the new listings that come on the market. So when a house is listed for the first time, the real estate agent doing the listing will send out a message so that we know, oh, we can go and look at on Tuesday or Thursday, go through the house, figure out what we like, what we don't like, so that when we talk to our clients, we understand what is good and bad about the house. So when you're talking to a real estate agent, he says, oh, yeah, I've been to the house on Main Street, or I've been on the house on Oak Road. That's what he means. He's been on these little visits that the agents do for each other so that we all understand what the inventory is out there. It's out of our own pocket in the sense that we don't get paid for any of this. It's just knowledge we need to know so that we can serve our clients better. But it's something that we do regularly. Every agent does it. Every agent should do it because we want to bring knowledge to clients. Unfortunately, because tomorrow is a Thursday and I'm going to miss tomorrow because I'm going to be at this workshop, I'm going to be a little bit behind on looking at the listings. What I might do is I'll probably go out on Sunday and just take a tour and see the houses. Then if they're having open houses, I'll go in, I'll introduce myself to the agent at there and just say, I'm sorry I missed the open house on Thursday. I just want to take a tour of the house. So that's what I'll end up doing. If any of this makes any sense to you at all, that's great, because I got one other thing I want to talk about. I want to talk about a little bit of freelance writing I'm doing. Over the weekend, I went down to Washington, D.C., a little vacation with my family. Now, when you're a freelancer, you don't really go on vacation. I was still sending emails to my real estate client. I was still looking at how to put together the workshop. And the other thing I was doing was when we went to museums, I was taking notes and I was taking photos. And what I do with those is I write up little blog posts and I post them on a website called hubpages. Now, hubpages is one of the few remaining ones, I think, that actually you get paid for the number of times somebody looks at your post. This was really big 10 years ago, even 6 or 7 years ago. I'd been posting things on hubpages' predecessor called Skidoo at the time. I was picking up $50, $60 a month doing that. And that was good because it was just writing up things that I wanted to write up. It was my own tastes. I could write up book reviews. I could write up travel reviews wherever we went on vacation. And I really like to do the vacation ones because it helps me remember where we've been and what I like about it. So over the weekend, we were in Washington, D.C. I went to a few museums. I'm going to be writing those up and I'm going to put them on hubpages. Might not make a lot of money on them, but the other thing is, going back to what we started with, there's tax deductions involved. If I write up about the Air and Space Center that I went and looked at John Dulles Airport on Sunday, I can deduct the parking ticket for that, and that will allow me to take that off any income I've got off my freelance writing. So that's one of the things you learn as a freelancer to do is you start to balance your deductions, your income, and you put it all together. And in the long run, hopefully, you only pay taxes on your actual profit. And that's really key because you don't want to pay more taxes than you need to. Obviously, this is tax advice that you're going to talk to your accountant about, but it's something to be aware of at all times. I hope this little talk has been helpful. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you find these video logs useful, please hit the subscribe button, and I'll talk to you next week.